Hello and welcome back to another episode by yours truly, Slambo the Silver Dragon. It looks like we're spending a little time in Space Engineers today. For today, we're going to be looking at a few of my creations that I've saved over time, just for a few glances around, and then we're going to take a look at another map where I'm probably going to do some shipbuilding or designing or something. So that's what this episode will be mostly about, and the second episode as well, probably to some degree. I made this little nav beacon structure. It is powered entirely by the solar panels here. It has a battery in case of emergencies for some reason. I just figured a cool little nav beacon item would be neat for various purposes. If I ever wanted to use it for some kind of story-related activity. Over here we have the Yvonne frigate. It's nothing all that impressive. It's just a lightweight, somewhat reasonably functional vessel. Has some autocannons behind some protected turret to protective walling here. Inside here, and there's some cargo containers, a medical bay. Behind all of these units is a line of small reactors. Same thing on this side. I'm surprised it had need of that many reactors, but well, there you go. We got these two assemblers here, and a couple batteries, which I don't apparently have any charge in. Oh, well, actually not, just recharge. Yeah, there you go. Yeah, see, nuclear reactors are all connected up so they can all be powered and stuff. This turret here is also aiming down that hallway. So, some nice defensive protocols in place. The color scheme was something I chose on a whim more than anything else. More auto turrets. And then we have the control room. Now, behind these panels is a bunch of piping. I used these panels. Actually, this was made back before we had actually flat panels. Before we had these, because I would have done that instead if I had the materials for it. This is just a bunch of piping behind it to arm up all these auto defense turrets and systems. This thing is actually pretty well armed, if I recall. I think it's got like it's got 2 missile turrets on the sides, and 1 or 2, and I think 2, maybe 3 or 4 auto cannons on the. Oop, no, don't want to move it. There's the control navigation. Yeah, so 4 auto cannons on the chain gun turrets, auto cannons, whatever, on the ship, aside from the 2 missile turrets. The ship's actually fairly agile for a large vessel, for a large ship. And I purposely tried to make it a lightweight, high-speed ship when I came about to designing it. So yeah. Over there is the Gideon. As it states, obviously, it's incomplete. I was originally going to make some kind of heavy carrier kind of ship, but eventually it just was taking so long to work on it, and the fact that even despite the design concepts I was putting into it, I got kind of tired of it, and I just was like, no, it doesn't look at all interesting to me. It's just like, well, whatever. Big old flying thing. It is fairly speedy, but only because it's covered in engines like crazy. Otherwise, it wouldn't be very fast at all. Okay. Over here we have Ravencrest. It's a little station thing. I made Ravencrest, and I was going in a I made it in a void map, and it was going to be a survival thing where you have to survive off of harvesting cargo ships or something. And I was like, well, I decided I didn't really care so much, but I did like the time I spent into it because it looks really kind of neat in here. So I made Ravencrest and I kept it. There's lots of storage, refinery, medical bay, and some other things here. There's 4 ways in and 1 landing pad. I was going to also expand out from these little portholes here and add other things on, like a solar array grid and other things. Honestly, it wouldn't be that much of a survival considering it would be already built to some degree, or at least ready to be built on. Headache. That's the name of this little drone over here, this little vehicle here. Headache I made in a survival world where I was trying to design a vehicle to help me mine out the interior of an asteroid while keeping a very level plane for running around in. And this actually came out pretty well by the time I was done with it. I'm still not sure if the settings are perfect for everything, but it's a fairly clean and functional vehicle. I might play around more with that in the future. This is just a transport vehicle, an armored transport vehicle for resources and such. I forget what it's called. I think it has a name inside. Let's see here real quick. No, I never named it. Okay. How about this one? Does it have a name? It's also, it was made before that armored one was made. Nope. So this is also unnamed. There's some various resources hanging around there. Strange, I don't recall there being red parts, aside from those, apparently, since lights seem to turn the color of whatever settings you give them. So yeah, I made those on just because I wanted to make some vehicles at some point. Okay, over here, I'm going to go over the less cool designs first. Here's Grunt. I made it at the same time I was making those other ground vehicles. And notice it's kind of laggy here. so many spacecraft. I should probably shut them down or something. And this thing was just meant to be kind of, I was trying to imitate LSG's design a little bit. I got something that didn't really look all that cool at all. At all. So here's at the X1A Drake. I like this one though. It came out a lot better than the Grunt ever did. It's fairly functional. It's just actually a lot of these older versions though are kind of not as functional as they could be, as I'd like. But they're still at least useful. It says like 4 autocannons and 2 missile launchers. The missile launchers are so far apart they're not very accurate as a result, so some not quite awesome design philosophy there. The X1B Drake was something where I was trying to design something more unique than the X1A, but it ended up being just kind of a giant toad. That's the best way I could describe it. It's just a really big, fat vessel that isn't all that awesome at all. At least not to me, anyway. The Lancaster Miner was my first mining vessel. The very first one I ever kind of designed, though I think I designed it in creative? I'm not sure. It was just designed to try and be able to tunnel bore into into asteroids, so it'd be easy to mine things and go in a straight line and then back out as needed, though that didn't pay out as well. And that's where the monster bore design came along. The monster bore I feel kind of proud of because it will just go right through an asteroid and goes through really well. Though, unfortunately, the storage could use some work on it. Okay, now, which one of these cooler ones? Well, this one's not as cool. The Kagan is something from another asteroid zone that another map I tried to make, and I made this mostly as a kind of like a test ship design rather than anything special. It was just kind of stuff, just trying to design a thing. It is a newer design, as you can tell, with the reloadable missile launcher. It's not bad. It's not great either. That one's newer, but I like this one a heck of a lot. The X2 Drake. Yeah, it was a design that was built, I think, after the X1, and the X1B might have been built after this, but whatever. X2 Drake. It has a armored cockpit with some toothy kind of designs to it. I tried to make this one look as alien as possible. So it has a really kind of bizarre curvature going on here. Various curving shapes. And actually, this thing is pretty dang hard to kill, because it has so many arm parts in other notable points, and the armoring on the front here. It becomes really challenging to actually tear it apart. Though its accuracy with the autocannons is a little bit questionable. At least it gets a nice wide spread with those weapons. It has a I just think it looks cool. I was trying to make something else a little bit, kind of a similar curve, where it was supposed to go out and then fold back. But every time I tried to make it, it kind of looks kind of diagonal rather than curved like this. So it's I kind of have trouble with curves in my in these designs. I'll go to Ivea next. Ivea here was a ship that I specifically designed to imitate a particular spacecraft that I really liked in an MMO that I once took a look at. I was kind of left disappointed with that MMO, so it's not really anything to look into, but the ship itself was pretty dang cool, and I tried to imitate it as best as possible to make something that just looked really awesome. And honestly, this ship is really functional as well. Admittedly, some of the parts on it don't work as well as they did when I first made the ship, that being the piston, extending landing gear, and yeah, the pistons and their extending, folding out landing gears that I made. Didn't quite work out the best as they could there. Ultimately, though, I'm somewhat pleased with how that one came out. And it has some pretty good thrust ratios. Not the best, though. This is the Tigre. You might notice the number of these names might carry some similarities. Well, I guess this one and this one carry similarities to some songs from Sursa as music. I don't know, it just popped into my head that I used this name, and then I realized later, oh hey, this is similarity to that music name of that song here and there or something. Oh well. It is what it is, it's done already. So this is the Tigre. It was a design, again, to try and make something more alien in appearance. This is what came out after I saw one of Last Stand Gamer's alien ship design videos, and I tried to incorporate some of the concepts there into the design. And it worked out somewhat. It really did create a particularly unique looking vessel, I feel. And honestly, this ship is pretty good in terms of design. It looks really dang cool, I think. It isn't as maneuverable as I'd like it to be, though. And there's also the fact that a number of these thrusters, I feel the ship kind of degrades in its appearance a little bit because of all of these thrusters. So it kind of lost some of its coolness because of it. But in the end, it's still a pretty dang awesome ship, I think. Okay, and I think that's... yeah, that appears to be all of them here. All in all, I think my favorites out of this selection is the Yvonne frigate. Well, actually, that one I think comes in about third. The first is Tigra here. Second is Ivea. And, oh wait. Okay. Favorite ships in order. Yeah. Okay. Tigra's first. X2 Drake is second. Ivea is third. Yvonne frigate is fourth. And fifth is the monster board down there. That's about right. Yeah, I think that's about right for my favorites out of the selection. Now, admitted, when I take time to build my ships, I honestly take a lot of time to do it. Like hours and hours go by when I'm building and designing a ship. So, or various vehicles as well. It just takes a long time, but once they're done, they usually function fairly well, at least since I work out all the bugs in their designs. So, yeah. Alright. Anyway, I gotta save any changes. I'm gonna load up my other world. I have a few worlds here. Actually, I'm gonna stop in over here at the maze real quick. This is a kind of a work in progress space station I was designing. It's gonna be a really long-term project because if I ever actually finish it and release it, the intention is to build a really, really, really huge space station that's really hard to navigate. That's effectively the purpose, is supposed to be hard to navigate. Apparently found myself in here. To some degree. At least, to some degree, it's supposed to be hard to navigate. I mean, some of the areas will be wide, open, long passageways. And then some curvatures here and there. And need to get out. Maybe I should just bust it through a wall. Might have worked out better that way. And yeah, there's Tigra, and there's Kagan. This is where I built these two designs initially. It was in this world. I think Tigra actually looks cooler in this particular light. It also looks cool in the hangar. This is what the design I originally started with on Tigra. I saved it because I'm considering trying to work on it, try a second attempt at it, see what I could get out of it. There's that's supposed to be like the command tower, I guess you could call it. And a nifty skybox. Yeah, so this is the hangar section of the future station that I wanted to make here. It has a design to it, I guess. Took a long time to build that as well. Also, these little parts here took a long time. I take way too long sometimes on trying to work out some of the design concepts I want to put together, because they just look so awesome, or look different in some regards. I made this blast door here because it was just kind of cool. Yeah. There's our pathways out, and then there's actually a second story That's why it was so tall, because there's actually 2 stories worth of storage compartments. And I think, yeah, there's a grand total of 6 compartments on top and bottom, so you can have a grand total of 12 ships stored inside this facility. I made stairs to get up and down for those that are running around on foot, other than using a jetpack like I am. This particular part of the facility was just meant to be big and wide and open. Just huge, open rooms for ships and stuff. But then the rest of the station would have like connecting off to big old maze work. Kind of like one would lead to like a power station, another one would lead off to a factory or refinery, some other in other locations like residential and other things, and it'd just be a really big, over the top kind of design. And I may eventually finish it, but it's been, I don't know, several weeks since I actually touched this one, so I don't know if it'll actually see completion. But yeah, there's that. Another one, Greystone. This is a facility I built some time ago because I felt like it was this was actually my first major survival world play I did. I never actually showed it anywhere because I was just kind of like, I don't know. So yeah, all of this was built in survival. It was, yes, I think it was. Yeah, it was. It was built in survival. It's not in survival now because I turned it to creative since I was done with the with working on it. I built all these solar panels to keep the station powered up and made them have each their own independent hookup. It was supposed to be a low profile power setup. It's intentionally set up just so that it will maximize power from the sun and also minimize the how much it sticks out of the asteroid. So you have to literally kind of approach the asteroid from this kind of view to actually see the base. Though it does stick out once you do get a good look at it. I just called it Greystone because whatever. Over here there used to be a grinder array that I built. It was just so I could grind things down and, you know, do stuff like that. Over here is the only real power supply for the station, aside from the solar panels over there. Nuclear reactor, and there's some conveyor, and there's the gravity. There's actually a few gravities, but you'll see in a moment why that was set up the way it is. The refinery is also here, because this is the only way you get the resources after spending time running around. Oh, I also turned off the power, apparently, down here. This hallway here is supposed to have gravity pulling down right here, so when you're traveling down, you actually walk, and then you walk and you're upside down, resurfaced back upwards. But I turned off the power for some reason. I think I was just like, shut it all down. And here's the first. Here's headache, as I called it, my mining vehicle. I turned it off as well because, you know, reasons. Medical bay. And these are just basically little these are little light source devices that I constructed out of landing gears, a reactor, and a light source. So I could just set them up around the base and down here. And these areas where I don't have like a solid beam of material to get to put lights in, I could just use these to light up these little hallways that I dug out with the mining vehicle. And as you can see, the terrain is actually fairly flat around here, and this was all dug out right along this area with the mining vehicle. Some of the this area right here is not so flat because I was still working on the design, and it got some bumpy worky over there. Here's another area that was mined out. It's a little bit bumpy in some places, but generally flat. Similarly, I dug out this area over here and I filled it in with metal plating. And yeah. Why are you floating around and twirling like a ballerina dancer? You do not make sense, Mr. Intervention Device. Okay, Thunk. Ow. Thunk. Thunk. Why does it keep spinning like that? Oh, I guess the piston must have changed and that caused it to flip out. And now it's just kind of perpetually spinning because the piston's making it freak out or something. There's another area I dug into with the mining vehicle. And over here's another area dug into, and another area there. Some nice stuff going on around there. Yeah, it's totally. You saw it just stop there, and then it started spinning again. Yeah. So this is supposed to be the grav elevator. Lets you get up to this area, which is another way in. I did never finish it. The station was intended to be a mining facility, and it was also supposed to. It was based off of the initial kind of design that I saw from Last Stand Gamers again. It was inspired by their first base, where they started building a space station in. Or actually, they had a space station. I was trying to make something that would be kind of similar to that, have some kind of cool designs and lots of rooms to go to and explore, and have like lots of, you know, superstructure and stuff. I'm sorry if it's a little bit dark. I should have turned on the lights or something. Actually, you know what? I'm going to go ahead and turn it on. All the systems, because why not? And then you can take another look at it all real quick before it's all skipped past. Yeah, so all the lights, all interior lights on. Oh, that also includes these. And also go ahead and turn on the gravity. All these gravity devices, turn them on. Okay, so yeah, refinery lights. Here's these lights. I really should have just went ahead and turned these on before I ran in here, but whatever. Foresight is 2020, they say. I'll just turn on one of these just to demonstrate their usage. Alright, you're on. There you go. Now, the lighting capacity of these devices is questionable at best. It's really kind of weak and wimpy and stuff like that. That's why I built so many of them. It just kind of wasn't really worth it, though, in the end, I think. This thing is mesmerizing. So, yeah. This hallway tube is kind of unlit. It needed some lighting improvements, I guess. And as you can see, we did have blast door blocks at some point in design became available during the work on this. Can I make you stop? You are really distracting me. There's some various tubes that go different ways. This hits the surface much like some of the other holes did, but I blocked them up, and I was gonna make this airtight is the word I'm trying to think of. I think an airtight kind of facility, so you could have, like, you know, semi-realistic air stuff. There was also a ship. I made a mining vessel and a grinding vessel, and there was also a lightweight kind of vehicle designed to haul things. But I apparently threw those away and I didn't keep them, which was kind of silly of me. I should have kept them just for visual review if I wanted to. Oh well. And that's about it for that one. What else do I got here? Ah, how about another station that I designed? I made a lot of things. I made a lot of stations, really. Way too much time and having a lot of fun just designing things. And the lack of the fact that survival is sorry. Survival